tall building, got my rolling brand new car. Cause I'm the unknown stuntman that made records such a star. Welcome to a special extra action movie night video. Tonight I will be reviewing The Fall Guy from 2024, directed by David Leitch, from a script by Drew Pearce, based on The Fall Guy, created by Glenn A. Larson, starring Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Winston Duke, Hannah Waddingham, Teresa Palmer, Stephanie Sue, and Jason Momoa. Now, this film, although I noticed that a lot of reviewers don't know this, this is based on the television series from 1981 to 1986 called The Fall Guy, which starred Lee Majors, Heather Thomas, and Douglas Barr. And I've seen the term loosely based on a lot of films. Some of them, I don't get that. Loosely based, they have, they said Miami Vice was loosely based on the television series. They said A-Team was loosely based on that. Bullshit. Those movies were perfect adaptations of the source material. Now this one, this one is one that I can literally tell you is loosely based on it. Other than the main character played by Ryan Gosling having the name Colt Seavers and being a stuntman, and having another character played by Emily Blunt named Jody, no characters' names resemble any of the names or any of the characters from the original television series. And Emily Blunt's character of Jody is not Jody Banks, as she was in the television series. She is named Jody Marino. And instead of her being an apprentice in the stunt business alongside Colt Seavers, the way that the character was in the television series, she is a romantic interest in here, being an ex-girlfriend to Colt Seavers, which is kind of strange that they went in that direction. But yeah, no other character names, no other characters came from that television series. So that was slightly disappointing for me going into this film, because I was hoping that this would be a really faithful adaptation of that TV series, because I was a huge fan of The Fall Guy growing up. I absolutely loved that series. It opens in a way that I was hopeful that it was going to be more true to the source material, as it opens with a big stunt montage showing the various stunt people throughout films and everything, and that's a big thing that was in the original series. They always opened with this montage of stunts from films during the intro, and most of the episodes even had a narration by Lee Majors telling what was going on in the story, much like Ryan Gosling does at the beginning of the film here, and throughout it actually. But the change to his character, making him in a romantic relationship with Jody as a character, it's off-putting for someone who loves the show. I love how David Leitch did the stunt aspects of the film and how Colt Seavers is. But Colt Seavers as a character was never attached to one woman in the television series. He had a lot of girlfriends throughout that show. So, and like I said, the Jodie character, he was more of a mentor to her in the stunt industry. She was a stunt woman that he was mentoring to be a stunt person alongside of him in his stunt organization for films, alongside another character named Howie Munson, who is completely missing from this film, who was Colt Seavers' cousin. I think a lot of this, the film could have been much better had they went with a real story similar to what we got in the television series, instead of feeling the need to come up with a completely different storyline and coming up with, this romantic story. Because the romantic story in this, even though I like Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt's performances in this, and they do well, they got really good chemistry together, they could have still had that chemistry together as different characters. In my opinion, Emily Blunt would have been much better cast in this film playing a character from the television series named Terry Michaels. She was played by Markie Post in the original show. I think she has the look, she has the vibe, and she would be the right age range to be that character. Whereas Teresa Palmer plays a character in this called Izzy Starr. She's the girlfriend to Aaron Taylor Johnson's character of Tom Ryder, the actor that Colt Seavers is doing stunts for. And it's just a waste of a good actress with Teresa Palmer. Teresa Palmer could have been playing the character of Jodie Banks. And that would have been really cool, I think, because you could have still had a relationship with Colt. Even though it didn't happen in the show, you could have still had a relationship going on with Colt and Terry. And Jodie could still be just the... Colt is more of a mentor figure to her. There is no romantic shenanigans going on with those two characters. But she's just wasted in this nothing part. It goes nowhere, that character does. So it was a waste of a really talented and good actress. I like Teresa Palmer, so I was disappointed to see her wasted in this film. And Winston Duke is pretty good as Dan Tucker in this. But again, I don't think his character was necessary in this film. They should have had an actor playing a character, the character of Howie Munson in here, and that would have been that. For what they did with this, I think it's a good action film. And it has some really great stunt performances in it and everything. And a lot of hard work went into this. It's apparent with the way that the action is put together. But it just, it suffers from that romance angle. I think it would have been a much better film had it focused just on the stunt aspects and then focused on this mystery of where Tom Ryder, Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, had disappeared to. And that plot point even kind of goes basically in a direction that was just iffy in the final film. But it wouldn't have been quite as bad if they wouldn't have had this weird romantic angle in there, because the movie is 2 hours long. It's too long. It's overbloated. I think it should have been about a 90-minute movie. I think if they would have cut out a lot of this romantic stuff from the film and just made it like I said, like the show and made it more similar to that, this would have been much better. And I don't like the fact that they eliminated the bounty hunter side job that Colt Seavers did in the original show. The original show, he's a stuntman in the films, and he has a side hustle, if you will, where he does bounty hunting jobs. And like I said, that character of Terry Michaels was his boss, setting him up into these certain bounty hunter missions and everything. And that could have been your way of getting the plot with Tom Ryder in there. And it still could have been, Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt working off of each other really well, because she could have been playing Terry instead of playing this Jodie character. But another thing I really started to like almost at the beginning was the more 80s, 70s, 80s centric music. They have I Was Made for Loving You, which I like Kiss. But I think they overused that song. But there were some more 80s songs in there that were really good and had really good placements in here. But then they had to ruin it, and they throw in a Taylor Swift song in one scene, which I was like, what place does that have in this? You have put a lot of 80s, 70s, and 80s songs here. Don't do that. And then you have, by the end of the film, there is, spoiler alert, a cameo by Lee Majors and Heather Thomas as these two police officers. And it was cool getting to see Lee Majors again. I just wish he would have been given a better role than just this cop here. And Heather Thomas, she's fine. But it was just a waste of these people. Like my friend Buddy Campbell, who you've seen on my channel quite a bit, he said himself, he said Lee Majors should have been playing something like Colt Seavers' dad. That would have been a pretty cool reveal in there, had him come in. But they didn't do it. But it was nice to see him in there. And another thing, there is a song that was in the original TV show on the opening and end credits. Like I said, this one, opening credits had I Was Made for Loving You, which was repeated ad nauseum throughout this film. Different variations of it, of course. It's not the exact same song every time, but still, it was there for the opening title sequence. And considering you're going to use it so much later, I don't know why they didn't just use the Unknown Stuntman theme song, which they do put in the end credits sequence, but it's being performed by Blake Shelton, and they changed a lot of the lyrics in it. Because there was references to people from the 80s.
I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with fire up. I've been on fire with Sally Field, gone fast with a girl named Bo. I've gotten burned over Cheryl Teagues, blown up for Raquel Welch.
And I don't know why that Blake Shelton couldn't have just referenced some actresses from now instead of, he changes the lyrics completely.
I'll walk the wire through rain and fire, go fast and I'll go slow.
And I think it hurts that song. But the song should not have been being sung by Blake Shelton. The Unknown Stuntman was sung originally in the original TV series by Lee Majors himself. It was basically Colt Seavers singing the song because it's his basic life he's singing about. So, Ryan Gosling just sang in the Barbie movie, so there's no reason why they couldn't have had him singing the Unknown Stuntman theme song for this. And it would have made a lot more sense that way. And don't give him a love interest, because, you know, in the song, the lyrics sing about him having these romantic interludes with some of these famous actresses and stuff and everything in the song.
But somehow they just don't end up as mine.
Needless to say, Colt Seavers with Lee Majors was more, he wasn't tied to one woman. He had a lot of different girls in that series that he was with. So, tying this character down to one woman was, and making her Jodie at the same time, was kind of, I didn't like that idea. But David Leitch does do some pretty good action sequences and stuff. Like I said, the fight choreography and stuff was pretty good, except for one sequence when Ryan Gosling's Colt Seavers is drugged and he's like hallucinating and everything. And that fight scene was just, it seemed like something that was out of David Leitch's other movie, Bullet Train, and it didn't seem like it fit into this film, considering the rest of the fight sequences and stuff were more consistent. This one just didn't fit in this film. But overall, this is a fun action film, but if they were not going to go with the actual plot of the real series, I don't see why they wouldn't have just titled this something else and just made it about the stunt industry. I do have one sequence near the end that makes me a little bit more hopeful for, if they do a sequel to this, that it might eventually get more closer to the television series. And that was near the end of the film. Ryan Gosling's Colt Seavers puts on a hat, and that hat is from the Fall Guy Stunt Association, like in the actual show. So that leaves me to think that maybe if they do a sequel, they might start putting some of these characters in there that are more in line with the television show's plots. But my final review of The Fall Guy from 2024, I am going to give this film a 8.6 out of 10. It's a fun action film, no doubt about that. But if you do like me and you came into this film wanting a really cool adaptation similar to the way A-Team and Miami Vice and The Fugitive and films like that did with their respective television series adaptations, you are going to be very disappointed, because it has little to nothing to do with the original television series, other than the name Colt Seavers and the name Jodie being in there. All right, but what do you think of this film? Do you agree with my review? Do you disagree? Let me know in those comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to click that bell icon so you can be notified about future videos just like this one. And while you're by the subscribe button, click that join button and become a Dark Knight fan. Well, that's it for another action movie night. If you missed last week's action movie night, check out the link above to get caught up on that one. And if you've missed any other videos, check out this down here where you can watch a playlist of any of our action movie nights that you have missed.